this. So, I decided I was going to go live, which has been a long time since I've gone live on here. I've been mostly live on TikTok lately. And, it's one of these things where I've kind of been neglecting my YouTube followers. So I really should get back to that, to actually chatting with y'all. So I hope everybody watching this at the time that you're watching this is having an absolutely wonderful evening, or morning, or day. Who knows what time it is for you? Right now, it is just after 11 o'clock at night. And yeah, I have some interesting things to talk about with my car, with life, with everything. There's been a lot that has gone on in the past while, and I've been meaning to make a video, which I was gonna potentially make one tomorrow because my car, I'm gonna fix that hopefully tomorrow. Come hell or high water, I'll get that thing fucking fixed. Like, let me tell you. But so I have a job now. I work out of Olds for a cab company, and I do mostly food delivery. The odd running people out of town, but other than that, it's mostly just the food delivery for them. And I only work part time. Basically, it's like Thursday, sometimes Fridays, and Saturdays mainly that I'll work. Because during the week there isn't really much for food deliveries at all, and it's just not worth it for me to drive all the way out to Olds to do that. So yeah, it's kind of just where I am at when it comes to that whole thing. But I've been only working for like this past week was my first week of working, so it's been pretty good so far. My car has been giving me troubles though, for sure, and it's really annoying. But it is what it is. It's how it goes. All the different stuff because that brand new starter that has decided to fail on me. But mind you, that brand new starter was a POS out of the box. Like, it started good the first attempt, and then afterwards, it's been a struggle to start that car with that starter. So tomorrow, I am going to be returning said starter and getting another one to install in the car. But beyond that, let's see what else is there. So with this new job, that means, hey, more car mods to happen hopefully soon-ish. I want to get my header installed. So, or at the very least, if I don't get it installed, like, right away here, it'll be before the first dyno day, I can almost guarantee that. So, stay tuned for that. I do want to get it installed, like, next weekend, preferably, but who knows, maybe I might not do that. But if you're wondering what's going on with my Capri, so if you didn't see my last video, I talked about potentially trading the Capri. And you might be thinking, well, what is she trading it for now? It's actually another Capri. Which you might think, well, wait, that's a little sideways. And actually, no, this is a backwards trade for me. But it's one of these things where it's something that I kind of wanted to do for maybe a little bit now. I thought of it the other day, and I was like, you know what? That makes my car more of a reality of what I've wanted for it for a while. And so basically, what this other Capri is, because if you have been, watching my channel for a long time, you might remember a Capri that I owned. It was a 1984 Capri that had a 5-liter in it. Now that 5-liter is long gone. The interior is long gone. There isn't much left of this car. Fun fact, there was so much rust underneath this car that I'm surprised it didn't just, like, fall apart entirely. And a lot of structural rust, too, because even though, like, it is a unibody, but, like, the frame rails are just gone, too, and it's... I didn't know this at the time, so then I traded that Capri for my convertible Mustang when I owned that. Well, now, though, I am going to be trading my Capri out there for that Capri just so that I can basically pillage that Capri for parts. And the parts that I want off of it are the body panels and the doors. So, the doors would go onto my baby outside, which, if you don't know, there is my Mustang right there. You know, my baby. Um, so basically, I'd have Capri rear quarters on it and a Capri RS front clip. So it's one of these things where actually it would be very good. And hey, Brian, how goes it, dude? Nice to hear from you. Any sense tomfoolery? Well, kind of. Kind of. So because you just walked in here, I'm gonna be getting rid of the Polter Merc. I just have no motivation to work on that car, like, at all. So I'm gonna be trading it for a Capri that I owned. That I'll be swapping. I'll be using that for body modifications for my Mustang. Stitch is gonna be looking more like a Capri, but as a notchback. So there's that, which is wonderful. Very wonderful. And so, yeah, like, it'll just be really, really awesome. And is it a backwards trade for me? 100% it's a backwards trade for me, but I am the queen of doing backwards trades. I think I've only done one trade where I actually made out very well, because it's a carburetor that needed to be rebuilt. That I paid $20 for. I traded it for the seats in my car that are probably worth in the neighborhood of around $400. So that was a win, right? And now, like, yeah, the car is gonna look so much better. Although it's gonna look weird before it looks like really good. So, as an example, the car, as you know, is gray, right? I just showed it. It's gray, it's red, it's blue. There's also like surface rust and whatever else too. But nah, we'll ignore that. And you might be thinking, well, okay, what's she gonna do? Well, with that whole front clip and everything, and those quarter panels, I don't know how to put this, but they're orange. Now, they're supposed to be red, but they faded to orange. So I'll have the RS hood on the car. I'll have a Capri front clip entirely. And now the rear quarters, I doubt we'll get those cut out before I leave there, because I will still need to be back here for like Wednesday, because I need to work on that Thursday. More than likely, unless if the woman that I drive to Calgary actually gets her truck fixed. In that case, then I won't be needing to be at work by Thursday, but at the very least, likely Friday. So regardless, that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to the car that way, and the starter's a POS, because, you know, welcome to brand new starters that are just a POS straight out of the box. Like, whatever happened to quality control for parts? We always used to say, oh, quality control was bad in the 60s and 70s and even into the 80s. Yet, parts from back then, I swear, you could find like a new old stock of that, and as long as it wasn't like in a bunch of moisture, it would probably actually work. Ooh, seized the AC pump last week. RIP! That is much sad, but at least it's not too hot where you are, so there's that. You know, it should be still kind of coolish. Coolish. Here it's been nice and warm, but... good old Triton. Yeehaw! Yeah, not the best motors in the world, but hey, you know. And hey, Kevin! I'm doing quite good. I decided I haven't gone live on YouTube in forever. So I decided, why not? You know, I've been going live on TikTok a lot lately, and I don't know why. Well, I know why, because I can play, like, copyrighted music and it'd be good, and, you know, but then YouTube is like, no, you can't have, copyrighted music in the background because people get upsetty spaghetti. And it's like, but why? Like, TikTok doesn't care. It's just sad. But then also, like, TikTok, there's a lot more trolls on TikTok, like a ton more. There's a lot of people that ask you if you're, like, autistic, but they don't spell autistic properly, and then they just say acoustic, and it's weird. But welcome to TikTok. It's just stupid. Like, I like TikTok, but I also hate it with a passion. I've met some fantastic people on TikTok, and one of them is actually a drag racer here in Alberta. She has a funny car that is a 69 Camaro. Or at least um that's what the fiberglass body is anyways. But it's a 540 blown alcohol motor, and she runs like 680s, I think she said in the quarter. So that's pretty badass. Anyway, no worries, Brian. See you in a bit, hopefully. But yeah, no. So it's one of these things, and because now people might be wondering of why I am just going to get rid of the Capri for another Capri that I'm only going to use as a parts car. Well, it's going to improve Stitch by quite a bit, and I just do not have the motivation to really work on that Capri outside. It's just... I'm just not there with it. And it's unfortunate, because that car deserves a lot more than I'm giving it, and just right now, I just don't have the motivation. I'd much rather just work on my Mustang. So that's just one of these things. And so as a result of that, I'll just go to where it'll eventually get love. Because Keith didn't really want to do anything with it, and he was doing me a solid with the trade that he did to me, but it's one of these things where I'm just not as enthusiastic about the car as I once was. So, with that in mind, it's just better just to get rid of it. And because I'm not gonna touch it anytime soon. Like it's just gonna sit and sit and sit and sit and sit and sit and sit. When it should be driven. And now he will probably fix it and either drop in a he'll either drop in a 302 into it, or maybe he keeps the inline six. I doubt he'll keep the inline six though. He'll probably chuck that, and he'll probably send me a video of him chucking it into a dumpster, more than likely. Which is fine. I mean, I've got my spare motor. I don't care. He can get rid of that motor all he wants. I really don't give a shit. Oh yeah, like the Capri is a better looking Mustang, I find, but that's why I'm doing the best of both worlds. I'm gonna have a notchback Mustang that has Capri trappings on it. So, hey Peter, yeah, no, I am doing quite well, thank you. How are you, dude? It's nice to hear from you. I have been neglecting my YouTube audience for far too long, and I decided I should go live, and so I did. So, hi. It's nice on here because I don't have like these troll comments of people just coming in and asking me if I'm autistic and stuff, and just it's weird on TikTok. It's very weird, but yeah. And that's one thing. Like, and I like Capris more than I do Mustangs when it comes to any of them. But the thing is, I just really want to just make my car that much more unique than everybody else's. Now, have people done Capri quarters on notchbacks and front clips? Yes, they have. 100% they have. But, nobody has done it with my setup. So, like, my car is one of one as it sits, and it's going to be even more one of one. And if somebody wants to replicate it, then so be it. And although, something that I want to try and find, because there was this guy, and I would have to find him, and I don't know his name, which is the trouble, and I don't even know what car he has. But he actually, at a car show, because I talked to him about, he was talking to me about his Fox body, and he had a Mustang with notchback with Capri trappings on it, like I'm gonna do. And he had a license plate that said Capri, which I want that license plate, like, a lot. And because I didn't ask him at the time if I could try and buy it off of him, I should have. Just because, like, that's what I want to do. And yeah, let's see. My buddy had a 84 Capri, built a 347 stroker for it, and 500 fogger. Nice! I like that. That is badass. Nice. I dig it. I dig it a lot. And hey, how's it going, Jonathan? Just sitting in here, kind of vibing out, enjoying myself, because I have not been live on YouTube in a hot minute, and I figured I should. It's probably been, what, close to a month or so? So I decided, why not? Let's go live. Let's update everybody, and let's just have a, you know, just sort of chat about cars or whatever, because that's what we do here, 100%. It's just the only thing that I like about TikTok more than this is that I can play copyrighted music, but that's pretty much it. It's back in the 2000s, so he sold that car. Oh, that's so sad when you get rid of a car like that, but I mean, I get it. Sometimes you just either get bored of it or you just don't want it anymore, or you can't afford to run it anymore, and I get that. There's a whole reason why I got rid of my convertible. And that's the one thing, because who knows? Maybe in the future, when I have more money, maybe I'll get that convertible back off of Keith. Because I know I could probably pry it out of his hands. He's not a big convertible guy, but... So Peter, not yet. My car is still doing the exact same thing with its starter, and it's really annoying. That starter... Because I can run the car, yes, but that starter is a POS. I have to physically turn the motor over by hand to get it started. So annoying. So annoying. Sometimes it doesn't do it. Sometimes the starter actually cooperates, but 99% of the time I have to get out of the car, with the ignition on, by the way, and turn the motor over by hand. Which is dangerous to a certain degree. Definitely is. But I'm not turning the motor over hard enough to actually make it, start. So there's that. You're just not gonna do it very fast. Plus, if I did it with enough force to actually turn it over properly, I'd probably break the plastic fan. So there's that. And because what's happening is so basically the little gear that's in the starter, when it's engaging, because, when you turn the key, it goes out, and then it starts spinning. Well, what will happen is that it will do that, and it can't spin properly. So then you have to spin the motor over until you hear it pop out, then you start it up again, and then it'll start working again. And it'll deactivate as it should. So it's getting stuck, and it's not getting enough torque on it to actually spin the flywheel around. So that's the problem. It's just the starter. And although this next... So, like I said, tomorrow, tomorrow, it's not after midnight yet here, I will be with my car at Bumper to Bumper. I'll be physically taking the starter out of it and installing the other starter there in the parking lot. And I'll just keep starting, stopping a few different times just to make sure that it works properly. Because otherwise, what I might just end up doing is... So the old starter isn't actually bad. It's just starting to slowly go. So, what they said at Napa when they tested it is it runs really good for the first bit, but then it slows down, which I had felt that during the winter time when it was, really, really cold outside, but I thought it was the battery that was doing that, but it actually turns out it was the starter doing that. So, that's one of those things where I'll eventually need to replace that specific starter, but it would get me $92 back in my pocket if I did it that way. And I might just end up doing that if this new starter does not work out. So, yeah. I mean, the old starter, you mean? Or the new one? Because the old one, I could see that, potentially. But the new one, nah, it doesn't even turn enough to even attempt to overheat. But it's one of these things. And it's annoying, but what can you do? Right? And the quality of new parts has just gone completely down the toilet. Now, what's interesting is that it's not actually a brand new part, because I can't actually locate a brand new starter for a manual 200 inline six that happens to be a let's go, even though my cars are 81, 81 is a transitional year, so from 19, I believe it's 66, right up until 1980 is my sort of search criteria, and I can't find a brand new one. Because I'd much rather get a brand new one over a reman any day of the week. But unfortunately, they just don't seem to exist. Or, like, I could maybe get a mini starter, but it'd be like $300 or $400 to get a mini starter. It's like, it's not worth it. Now, I have heard that 460 starters are apparently the same, but I don't know that for sure. I'd have to do more research to make sure that was the same. Well, see, the old starter, it's not like it was seizing up. It's just, it just slowed down in its cycles. So it's one of those things. See, well, here's the thing, Kevin. I can't, because you'd have to find a manual that has the same tooth count. Which, good luck with that. They're really difficult to find that, and then you're dealing with a used starter that who knows how long it's going to last. It might last you 30 years, or it might last you 2 months. Like, or even the new one, sure, but I don't know. Like, I've heard that 460 starters might work, but I have never confirmed that, though. And I just need to do more research to see into that, because who knows? I might just end up getting like a mini starter for a 460 and going that way. But I don't know for sure. So it's just one of these deals. And I don't want to, like, take the starter apart myself. I just don't have a good place to really work on a starter around here, honestly. If I was up in Edmonton, yeah, I could have a bit more places. Or if I went to Calgary, I could, borrow a friend's garage and just do it that way. Like my friend Ron, oddly enough, I might actually be going to his place in the next bit, maybe, to do some sandblasting and painting of some parts. So we'll see. See now, and it's interesting because I don't see them actually phasing out those like starters and stuff like that. The reason being is, especially for that car or that engine, is they use that engine in a lot of different things. Like, fun fact, baggage handlers at airports could use that engine. You could even, a very common use for them as well was swathers. So, and there was a lot more of those engines built for industrial uses than there was for, non-industrial uses. And so, and they built that engine in equipment from I believe it was 61, right up until around 1990. So it's one of those things. It had a long run. It's no different than like a small block Chevy. Like, you'll always find small block Chevy parts because they. We'll see, and that's the one thing. And exactly, like in those 300s, you can still find parts galore for those things. There's a lot more parts that are available for the 306 rather than the 206. It's one of those things. And the best part about a 306 is, oh, look at that! Small block forward bell housing pattern. And starter. And flywheel. What a concept, right? So, it's one of those things. And that's why, like, so many people have actually said, well, why don't you, have you ever considered to go to a 300 inline six rather than a 200? And for me, it's just like, I've considered it. I've looked into it. And it's just not worth it. The 306 is just way too big. And no, because the 300 inline 6 uses a small block Ford starter. It has a different tooth count. So you cannot use that. Because again, that's straight from a small block Ford. They use the identical starters with the flywheels, I believe, are the same too. So, and that's the nice thing of a 306. But like putting a 306 in my Fox body is just, it's not viable at all. It's a stupid idea. It's too heavy, it's too tall, it's too long. It's just a nightmare for fitment. So because it's a big ass motor. And yeah, they are. And well, people say, well, what about a 250 inline six? And I'm going, so I know somebody who has done that swap, and it's actually my buddy Keith. It was his nephew that had an inline six Fox body, and he wanted to do a T5 swap, but they decided to go with a 250 inline six rather than a 200 instead, so that they could just use all small block Ford stuff. So, but the problem was they had to do a custom oil pan for it, which they built themselves, but it was a pain in the ass. Yeah, well, definitely. They're like, the 300s were only put in vans and trucks. They were never put in a smaller application. Where the 200s, 250s, you had the 144 and the 177s were all made for smaller cars. And hey, if you haven't already, because I see that there's 8 viewers, there's only one person talking, but that's okay. But y'all should hit that like button, which is probably down here somewhere for you. But, let's pump that up a bit, because every little bit helps me to help, get more people in there. And my Facebook page it's not all one word like that, but it is Katarina's Garage. Not that I ever post on it anymore. I don't. I wasn't getting a lot of activity on it, and I just said screw it and stopped doing it. But it's a great way to reach out to me, or you can do it through Instagram as well, which is Katarina's.garage. And then, of course, you can email me as well, but which all of that is in my sort of like about section on YouTube, if you want to see all of those links for everything. So yeah, it's one of those deals. But no, I can't wait for what's to come with my car, and hopefully I can fix this star issue right away, because I am getting really annoyed at my car. Because like it's really like, it's annoying with my car because, well, I'm a food delivery driver now, and when it acts up like that, and here's the thing, it's getting worse and worse every time I do it, so I don't really want to do it much, and I hope it's not damaging the flywheel, because it might be, but hope not. And I will know, like, basically, once I have that starter out tomorrow at Bumper to Bumper, I'm going to turn the motor over, and just to check the flywheel to see if it's okay. Because I believe there was a couple of chipped teeth in it when I put it in, to be fair. But, it was okay, because it was not too bad at all. And, like, yeah, and I could get a new ring gear for that car, for that flywheel. And I may end up doing that at some point. But, for now, I don't need it. And that's the one thing. If it did damage to my flywheel, I will be absolutely pissed, and I'll be seeing what Bumper to Bumper can do about it. Sure, I guess. What do you want to tell me about food delivery? It's pretty simple. Like, although mine is a little different compared to others, because I don't work directly for a restaurant. I work for a cab company. Oh, here's the thing, Kevin. That is my daily driver. And I don't have a choice. So, yeah, like, no, that car will always be used as my daily driver. And fun fact, I'm not putting a lot of mileage on the car doing it. The only thing that's putting mileage on it is driving back and forth from Olds to Sundre. Hey, Dean! Happy New Year, dude! It's been a while. How's it going? But genuinely, like, it's not putting a lot of wear and tear on my car, because genuinely, I'm only doing, like, between 4 to 6 deliveries a night. It's not a ton. Although I think last Saturday I think it was 8 deliveries total. Again, it's not a big city, so it's fine. Like, it's fine. Like, it's better than it's sitting. you know, and not being used. Because that's the worst thing you can do for a car is let it sit. Yeah, I could see that. But I'm also in doing delivery in a small town, not in a big ass city. So there's that. Like I'll be putting on a decent amount of mileage, but I only work part time there. Why am I still awake? It's only 11:30. It's 11:34, 11:35. It's not that late at all. Like I'm usually up till at least 2, 3 in the morning, anyway. So it's one of these things. But hey, I'm glad to see you here, Dean. It's been a while. Um, but yeah, like yeah, and that's one thing. Like I drive my car in every condition: snow, rain, you know, blizzard. Take your pick. I've driven in it. Ah, good old, Australia. Oh, did you get rid of you got rid of the Mustang finally? Or because I'm trying to think if I am thinking of you as somebody else. Um, because I know a Kevin that had I believe it was a '66 Mustang that was a manual inline six car. Um, okay, a long time back. Okay, you're not the same person that I was thinking you were. So, um, I I know somebody that is named Kevin that had a '66 that I think he still has it. Apologies. So, and I believe he actually did have, oddly enough, a Hyundai Elantra too. So that's what was throwing me off. Apologies for that. But yours had a 289 with a 3-speed top loader. Ah, okay, cool. Cute. You know, I'm just hanging out and, like it's gonna be fun with. And you swapped it for a 4-speed. Nice. That's a good upgrade. Very good upgrade over that 3-speed. 100%. And it just, I can't wait to, play with my Mustang more and get it to where I want it or get it closer to what I want. Because, like, that, with the whole Capri front clip swap and maybe the Capri rear quarters in it, you know, it's just going to look so badass. And I can't wait for that. And then get the header installed soon, hopefully. Like I said, by next week, I hope to get at least the front clip and the header installed with any luck. We'll see though how it goes, because I will have to see with work of when I'm gonna need to be back in again for stuff, and I'll have to look at the calendar for that. But it's not a big deal. So yeah, and as business picks up, I'll be working more, but it's just not worth the trip for me to work full time at the moment for the delivery. But yeah, no. So, oh, exactly. Like that's the one thing. Although something that I need to do, and who knows, I might end up doing this tomorrow, is so there is Rust attempting to start its way on the passenger side shock tower. And so what I'm gonna do is I do have my grinder, and tomorrow I might just actually I'm probably gonna do this while I'm like doing the starter. I'm going to grind that down, and then I will get some primer and paint, and it's not gonna match, but I don't care. It's just get it so it does not do any more of that because I don't want that rust to spread like that. Um, so I would like to. do that sort of thing. And actually, I'm just checking this really quick. Okay, I don't care about that. Don't care about that. Sorry, just checking notifications really quick. So I actually, not the motor that's in it. I have a spare engine that is at my buddy Keith's place that I want to do some work to it. Like, because the motor that's in my car, I'm probably not going to build that one up. I doubt it. But I have another engine. It came out of another 81 Mustang. Or no, not 81 Mustang, 81 Fairmont, actually. And that engine, if I could get the money together, basically, I'd be sending that down to California to my buddy's place. And then he would be doing a really cool fuel injection setup on it, where it would not use an ECU, which makes my life way easier. Although tuning it will be an interesting thing when it comes to certain things. But it'll be using coil packs, and the intake would be cut off in individual throttle bodies. And stuff like that. So actually, I've done a compression test, and it's about at 140 per cylinder, basically. Now, it's been a while since I've done one, but you can go back on my channel and find those videos on compression tests. I've done them. So, I don't know how far back you'd have to go, but you can find them. And the engine hasn't really changed very much since then. And yo, Jordan, how goes it? But yeah, so do individual throttle bodies with coil packs, you know, have fuel injection. It'll be run off of just simple sensors that are within the distributor cap itself. And basically wouldn't be run off an ECU. Like, it's similar to Bosch injection systems of the 70s, right? And even into the 80s. Like, very, very similar to that. And it'll be very reliable, very good, and it'll use common parts where I can just get them off the shelf should I need to replace anything. Where, as an example, so you're running a Holly Terminator. So that, the only problem with the Holly Terminator is trying to get parts for it, you have to go directly to Holly. Where my setup, I'll be able to just go to any Napa, bumper to bumper, AutoZone, whatever, and just get parts from there. Like, that's the awesome part of this. So, other than the diagnostic board, which is a custom piece, but that's fine. And I mean, it comes from a lifetime of doing research on cars and stuff. You know, it's one of these things. My practical knowledge, aka like actually working on cars, that only started in 2019. Because I didn't really do anything meaningful prior to that. You know, like in school, I was, you know, like we were just doing basic oil changes, and we learned how to demount and mount a tire like on a tire machine, which was cool. But other than that, didn't really do anything else. So now that I have my own project car, it's really got my wheels turning of what I can do to it, and all the different mechanical stuff. And now what's interesting is, so with this injection setup, that my buddy would do, because he's an engineer, so he's kind of wanted to do a setup like this for a while, and it's a very simple thing, like, and I understand it fully of exactly how it would work. That he said, that it would do without touching the cam and without, you know, boring out the cylinders, without decking the head, none of that. It would basically be making right around like 200 horsepower and over 300 foot-pounds of torque by doing this injection setup, because you're eliminating the part that makes it so underpowered, and that's that intake, because that intake, it's horrible. And A bead degree. Nice, I like that. And now, so Peter, over here, the the 200 inline six was phased out after 1982. However, in like Dean said, Argentina, Australia, don't forget Brazil, also, I believe, had their own version of that inline six as well. They kept it going, albeit they went with the 250 inline six. And then that eventually evolved into the Barra 4-liter. And actually, so Jordan, you want to see what my car is? Hang on, 1 second. I will show you. Because it's in my driveway. There's my baby. You know, that is my 1981 Ford Mustang. This car I've owned since 2019, and she's my daily driver, and I absolutely adore her to pieces. You know? Well, see, it's interesting. Chris, you say that, but I won't even have to do that to really get, like, I might not even have to go boost. And to be honest, I'd much rather go supercharged than turbo. Turbo is nice, and turbo is more efficient, don't get me wrong, but there's something about a supercharger whine that's just, yes, yes. And superchargers do not silence your exhaust. They make it louder, which is what you want. You don't want to silence that exhaust, you want it louder. So, yeah. And you are instantly removed. There we go. They're gone. Just like that. Because, I'm sorry, you want to be a sexist pig? You can just piss off from my chat. I don't care. See, you can do that, but it depends on the supercharger setup you have. Because, realistically, I only want to do like an Eaton M90 or something like that. You know, and do it that way. Plus, also, like, my header makes it a pain in the ass. Because my header is a dual exhaust header. To try and do turbo with it, it would just not spool that turbo at all. Unless if I, like, you know, combine the exhaust at some point and put the turbo way the hell back there. Which, there's still going to be a lot of turbo lag. Like, and that's the problem that I have because I chose this specific header. Which this header, it's an unobtainium header, like, and I'm not going to get rid of it. Because it's a Hooker Super Competition Series header. They haven't made them in over 20 years. So, and it's the best header that they ever built for these inline sixes. So I'd much rather not get rid of that. And, you know. Yeah, and exactly. And, like, and what Dean mentioned. Because, you know, you with your, a V8, you're producing more air out of it. And then also, you've only got 5 main caps for the bearings, for the crank. While my inline 6 has 7. It's a much stronger bottom end than what 302s are. And it's interesting because that inline 6 is technically a stronger motor than the 5-liter. Because now, what's interesting, though, about it is the potential of that engine with the stock block is actually technically better than what it is as a small block Ford. Let me explain. So, we all know the trope of, hey, you know, small block Fords, at least the ones from the 80s and Fox bodies, basically, they go somewhere around 550-ish horsepower, give or take. You know, I've heard some people say, yeah, they've been running 550 for years. I've heard other people say they ran 500, instantly broke their, you know, put a hole through their motor. But regardless, that inline six that started out only making basically 87 crank horsepower can actually go to about 512 horsepower with the stock block, which is absolutely incredible to think about. That you can do that with a lowly little inline six. Now, am I going to build mine out that far? No. I realistically, all I want out of that car is to beat up on stock Aero Fox Body GTs. That's it. Um, Other than that, I'll be absolutely ecstatic with that. And basically, so I'd have to pull about a mid 14-second quarter mile while also having to have a better suspension setup as well so I can beat them around the turns. And it's one of these things. And that's the thing. I have spent the money to where I'm keeping that inline six because I'm sorry, those parts are just unobtainium in it. Like, or not necessarily unobtainium, but hard to track down. And there's now one of one pieces on that car. As an example, so that car was born with a C4 automatic, and it now has a T5 manual, which I put it myself with the help of my buddy Keith. And that clutch fork is 2 Fox body forks with a 66 fork. And so, yeah, like, you can't replicate that fork without doing the exact same thing we did. We cut the top of it and the bottom of it off, and we welded a couple of Fox body forks together. So the top of one and then the back of 2 Fox body forks to get the length that we needed. And yeah, that's how we did that. And that's true. Because, I mean, you know that if you do a really hard launch at higher RPM with those motors, when you're running that 550 horsepower, you'll just, boom. It will break on you, good chance. But if you baby it a little bit, then it's not so bad. But it's one of those things, right? See, now, actually, turbos on these inline sixes are not that uncommon. It's just I'm the only one playing with an inline six in a Fox body. Like, to my knowledge, just because I have not seen another one out there on the interwebs, and believe me, I've looked just to see if anybody else has done it, and nobody has. So we were on like uncharted territory when we did that swap. That car, like, I believe it's the only T5 manual swapped 200 inline six Fox body out there, to my knowledge. Because again, I have not found another one. It's possible that somebody has done it without posting it on the internet. Who knows? But it's one of those things. And yeah, like, T5s are great. I wish I had a slightly different T5. The reason being is I would love if it was a world-class T5 over the earlier T5. Just because, well, for one, it can handle a little bit more power. Instead of 285 torque, it would handle 335 foot-pounds of torque. Although that number is a little interesting because you can actually push them more than that, but as long as you're not running slicks. But besides the point. So, there's that. And then the overdrive is 0.67. While the first gear is actually a, oh god, what is the first gear again? Is that, why can't I think of what the first gear ratio was in those? Oh no, I already said that it was a 335 compared to a 285, yeah. So then the 0.67 compared to the 0.72 overdrive. It's one of those things where I would love the world class more just for the better gear ratios that way for my inline six. Now, when I actually am making V8 power out of it, then I won't really have to, worry about those gear ratios that way. It would just be nice to have the 0.67 overdrive just to get that RPM a little bit lower on the highway. But other than that, hey, no worries, Kevin. I really do appreciate you coming out to the live. Have a fantastic sleep, and I'll catch you later. Peace out, dude. But yeah, and now, do I bang shift it a little bit? Yeah, I do. But also, I don't run, so, as an example, so, okay, you're a Fox body dude. You probably recognize this. This is a stock shifter, like stock T5 shifter for, that thing. And it's very, thin here, and you can tell this shifter sucks. They're okay, but if you actually want to bang shift your car, you ditch these immediately. And instead, you go with what I have in my car, which happens to be a Hirsch short throw shifter. And it works very well. I love that. And how it's designed, it actually strengthens the box, which is cool. My Michigan buddy put a T5 in a 79 Fairmont 3.3 turbo with 4-cylinder ratios. Okay. So I'm not the only one with the inline 6 with a T5 then. Fair enough. In a Fox body. Oh, wait, you don't have... Oh, Chris, you can... now, depending... with the Hirsch short throws, they're not expensive. I didn't buy mine new. I got mine at a swap meet for only $125. It was cheap. So... Oh, you still rock the stock shifter. Yeah, I would seriously try and find a Hirsch short throw for that thing, because it's worth the upgrade. Super worth the upgrade. And, it's not too short of throws where it's, ridiculous. And plus now, and here's a question for you, Chris. So with the stock shifter, did you get rid of the rubber bushing that's here and on this side too? Because if you haven't yet, I would, because it makes a big difference with those stock shifters of how they feel. And hey, Steven! Good day, or good evening, technically, or night, I should say, from me, because it is midnight here. But, yeah. Nice to see more Aussies in my chat, because it's always interesting to see your perspective with cars and stuff like that. And that's why I kind of like going live this late, because I know that in Australia and in New Zealand, it's basically the evening for you guys, so it's great, you guys can chat, where for me, it's not super, super late yet. It's midnight, but, it's one of these things. But yeah, Chris, because if you haven't yet, because I can show you, actually, really quick. So, because basically all you have to do is just, these are just hand-type bolts. Down under invasions, I'm okay with it. You guys have some sick-ass freaking cars, man. I'm telling you, you have some stuff that I wish I had for my car. So here we go. So, just so that we can get a closer look at this, because I just have these bolts hand-tight on here. And I haven't gotten rid of that rubber insulator yet. Because basically, this insulator, all this does, so you can see, just how much of that material is there. When, if you get rid of it, and you just should be able to literally just, you can see how it's, lifting away here. You should just be able to peel it right out with, a screwdriver or something. And then once you do that, and bolt it back together, you will feel the difference immediately of how much crisper it feels with that. And it's a very simple thing. Oddly enough, depending on your shifter boot, you might just be able to get away with just doing it this way, without having to take your center console apart if you have one. So, which most cars happen to have that center console. And now what's interesting, because, so the stock shifter over a, the Hirsch short shifters, where, because this, shifter being way up here, Mine is closer to like right here, basically, is where my shifter cuts off. So it's a big difference in throws. But yet it's not too short to where it feels awful. It is at a point to where the gears feel absolutely perfect. Oh, your console's all busted up? It might make you a little sad because I don't know how long you've been watching my channel, Christopher, but I actually cut up a black center console. Now, granted, this is for my four-eye console, not a one that's in your car. For my car, and I cut the front of it off to get rid of the computer up front to put cup holders in it. And I just did it straight with a Sawzall. I did not care. I'm like, whatever. You know. So, yeah, it was just one of those things. Now, if you were closer, because actually, Chris, where are you from again? Because if you are anywhere nearby, I actually do have a center console for an Aero car. So, it's up in Edmonton, but I do have one. Oh, you're in Oklahoma. Yeah, see that it'd be a bit too far for any of that to do any horse training or whatever to try and do that. Sadly. Because I'm in Alberta, so it's a little bit of a trek. Just a little bit. And see, Dean, you... Actually, no, you can't do that. You can do that with my Fox body, which is a 4-eye. However, with his is an Aero, which the main difference between them is they don't interchange with each other. You have to actually do modifications to your car to change it, which is not a hard modification to do. But his handbrake is actually stepped over to the side more, where mine is perfectly in line with the shifter. So it was just one of those things that they did. I'm not sure why they did that, but they did. So that was one of the few things that changed between the Aero and the 4-eye. Plus, also like the dash is different in the 4-eye or the Aero. The hood is different in the on the Aeros, and of course the front end is different on the Aeros than the 4-eyes. So. Hey! How goes it? Basically, well, now, Dean, there's an interesting thing about the Aero Fox body. So, did you know that the Aero Fox body wasn't supposed to exist? The Aero Fox body Mustang, that was an afterthought entirely. Because after 1986, it was supposed to be replaced by what is now called the Ford Probe. Because if you remember back in the day, that was supposed to be the Mustang. But then all of Fordland cried and said, no, you cannot make a front-wheel drive Mustang. And so as a result, they quickly retooled the Fox body, and they did that instead. So, and that's why you can see a lot of stuff that was hastily done on those. Because there's like, oh crap, we need to do this RFN to fix that. Because they only anticipated the Fox body going from 79 to 86. 87, it was supposed to go to, the Probe. And now what's funny is, because everybody cried that they were going to make a front-wheel drive Mustang, but now it's like, oh, wait a minute, they made a Mustang into an electric SUV. I think we would have much rather had that front-wheel drive. It's sad. It's sad. Plus, also, I actually have a Troll and Mustang groups here in Alberta that owns a Mach-E, and he thinks his Mach-E is hot shit, and he always bashes on my car all the time. It's great. It's fun times. um, I haven't watched any. Well, because actually, Sick Week isn't that not until the summertime with Sick Week? Or are you just thinking that that's on my TV right now? Because it's not. I don't have any sound on. It's just what the hell is this? It's Texas Metal. It's on TV. I just have it as basically like something to look at, but no sound out of it, just in case there's any copyrighted music. So, yeah, it's one of these annoying things. But like attending Sick Week would be cool, and we have our own version of it here in Alberta. So we have this event that is called oh, it's going on this week. I had no idea, to be honest. I had no idea. But we have our own version of it, which is called Miles of Mayhem. It's here in Alberta. Basically, they go, if I'm not mistaken, from Edmonton, so like Rad Torque Raceway to Rimbey, down to Medicine Hat, back up to Rimbey, and I believe back up to, or they might actually dip into Saskatchewan or BC for one of their tracks too. I'm not sure the route this year, but I would have loved to attend, but I just don't have the money for that. Like, I would, to do Miles of Mayhem, I'd need to save approximately, probably around $2,000 to do it. So it's one of those things where I just don't have that money. And at that point, I'd much rather just spend it on my car as opposed to spending it on doing an event like that. I'd get some really cool-ass content out of the deal, but whenever I've done anything like that with content, it's never done near as well, which sucks. Maybe, but oddly enough, in racing, though, it's always in miles, right? They never talk in kilometers when it's racing. It's always miles. So, there's that. Because even here, we still have eighth mile and quarter mile tracks. And when you cross the, when you get your timing slip back, it shows it in miles per hour, not kilometers. So, there's that. Like, Canada isn't full on the, the metric system. Like, we are, but we're not. Like, it's like half and half, where it's like, hey, it's metric. Oh, no, it's imperial. No, it's metric. No, it's imperial. Miles and Hurst rule. I like it. No, I don't want that. There we go. But yeah, no, and it would be a really fun event. Now, I'd be the slowest car there, but who cares? It would be a very fun event. I just don't have the money for that. And like, if I had somebody sponsor me, I would do it, but I don't have that, so screw it. Construction, oddly enough, if you actually go to a construction site with a metric tape measure, they'll tell you to throw it out and get an imperial one. Genuinely, that's how it is. But my driver's license shows in centimeters and in kilos. But I don't know my height in centimeters and kilos. I know it in pounds and feet. So there's that. It's a weird system. And like, when we talk about, so like, driving around and like distance wise, we talk in kilometers here. But top speed is in miles, though. It always is. Like, I don't know, as an example, if somebody says, hey, I'm going, 250 kilometers an hour, I don't know how fast that actually is. Like, I know it's really fast, but, like, what is that? And I know that's just over 200 miles an hour, or close to 200 miles an hour, anyways. Actually, I think it's like 180 or so. Something like that. In Roman numerals. See, dress size for women is bizarre because it's not a constant thing. Just like shoe size is not a consistent thing across the board. It's annoying. It's annoying shopping. I'm a woman and I don't like shopping. Like, I do enjoy it, but trying to find something that fits me is a pain in the ass. Because even though I am not, you know, fat or anything, I have a size 11 foot and I'm 5'9" and I have long legs. So it gets annoying to try and find stuff for me all the time in stores. But yeah, no, it's just one of these things. And so, your 302 Falcon did CXXV. What? Hang on. The 225, right? If you're trying to do it in Roman numerals, that's yeah, 225 is that, I'm assuming, in kilometers, or is that miles? Because if you did 225 miles in a Falcon, fuck me, that's like that's just insane. Ugh. Give me air. There we go. Just pull me off of it. Because I got a cat on my lap. Oh, XL is smaller than L in Roman numerals. It's 125. Okay, fair enough. Hi, Saber. Hi, buddy. You liking the scritches? Eh? You liking the scritches? Hi, buddy. Oh, thank you. Hi, Saber. 125 miles per hour. Okay, fair enough. I have done in my car, I think it equates to 112 miles per hour, which is 182 kilometers per hour. You know, so it was going pretty good that day in my Mustang. Fair enough. Well, you know, if you're a granite fabricator and installer, you know, you'd probably have a good amount of money. I wish, you know, it'd be you know, when you're only working like part-time jobs, it really sucks in the money department. But my bills aren't that high, so it kind of works out to a certain degree. But and then getting YouTube paychecks aren't so bad, but I don't get a lot of money off these. I get $100 every few months. Like it's not a ton. You're King Chris the 13th. Interesting. Um, but yeah, I just, you know, like tomorrow can't come fast enough because I need to get that phone call and get that starter installed in my car, and then hopefully it's good. And then if it's not good, then I'm literally just gonna go back to my old starter. I'm just gonna say screw it. And hopefully it works. Because it'll be easy to figure out if it works or not, though. Because all I got to do is just ground it really quick, and you know, energize it, see if it actually kicks on or not. Which I do have jumper cables in my car, so that wouldn't be very hard to pull off. True, true. Yeah, your job is good to the end of time, and plus, there's probably still, you know, people that like, you know, millionaires or whatever else that just want to, you know, refab their home every couple of years. So, you know, that's not bad. Cause yeah, like, you know, like last week I made okay money, only working 3 days, and I made like $250 essentially. It's like it's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. That's funny. well, hey, it's lucky that he didn't see you earlier, because otherwise, that would have been one hefty ticket if your car just didn't get impounded at that point. I can't keep going under. No, sorry. I shouldn't have said that, but yeah, but no, and Chris, oddly enough, like I have been seeing him comment on a lot of my stuff lately, and it's been kind of cool actually to see. I always like to see when there's more people commenting on my videos and stuff like that, because the more comments I get on the videos, the more it gets sent out to people. The more it gets sent out to people, the more subscribers I get. The more subscribers I get, the more views I get. And it snowballs. That's why, like, when I'm dealing with trolls, I don't just stop the conversation. I keep it going, right? You'll see me, like, I will sort of attack a troll in YouTube comments, which I will admit I don't get that many YouTube trolls anymore. I used to get a bunch, but I guess they've realized I'm not an easy mark. Like, I will destroy you, and then I will just basically tell you by the end of it, I don't really care. You're getting me more for the algorithm, so thank you. But yeah, but it's like this, Mach-E fanboy that, like, because he owns a Mach-E and he thinks he's all hot shit and he thinks his Mach-E is like the best thing since sliced bread and blah 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 blah. And when I've tried to tell him that that Ford has axed the Mach-E and that they're actually slowing down production of EV projects because they are realizing that there's a lot of drawbacks to it. And he didn't believe that, even though I told him both Ford and Toyota are doing that, and I believe there's actually a few other companies that are starting to do that too, because they're realizing that just in its current state that EVs are not the way of the future. And that's what, like, Toyota's been trying to push for hydrogen, which I believe in that 100%. Hydrogen, I say, is the way of the future. In time. Is the race way down there? Ooh. Wait a minute. Only thing is, it's the race way down there. Ford Advanced Driver School. Now that is freaking sweet. See, now, I wish we would have got those over here. They're such a cool ass car. Like, I remember the first time I saw one of those, which probably would have been Gran Turismo 3 or maybe Gran Turismo. It would have been in Gran Turismo 3, actually. And I remember the one in that game that it had the big ass Ford decal on the side of it. Just like the Ford Focus rally car. It had this interesting spoiler out the back, and it had this big body kit on it too. And it was apparently a very successful race car too. Like, that thing was just so cool. Oh, now that's just tragic, Chris. See, now, if you don't want to subject, your truck to that, and if I'm still alive, just write the truck to me in your will and just have it sent to me. Because I will make sure that no electric motor goes in that car, in that truck. I will promise you. But yeah, because actually, if I find... Ooh, nice! I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Because actually, the one that I'm... Because let's just see. Ford Falcon race car. Gran Turismo. Yeah, see, like, you know, whenever I think of the Ford Falcon, like, what I think of is this from Gran Turismo. I believe this is Gran Turismo 3. That is the car I think of, right? And it is just so damn cool. And I wish we would have got these over here, because that's a badass looking car, man. Yeah, only just that. Yeah, that's it. Just that. Also, oh, wait. And, now here's a question for you. Because I don't know if Australia ever got these. Or not. Because Chris would know what this is. Or maybe he might not, to be fair. But, over Down Under, did you guys ever get these? So this is a Ford Escort EXP. Now, this is a later one, so it doesn't have the weird looking front end on it. But when you look at this thing from the side, it actually looks like a Fox body Mustang. And even, like, you look at those tail lights, and, like, they kind of look like a Fox body Mustang, right? These things are just so cool. I found this one for sale out in BC, and I want it so bad, but I can't afford it, so I'm not going to buy it. But, yeah, see, you guys never got these, huh? Interesting. Because, yeah, like, these were, you take a Ford Escort, you remove the back seats, and you give it more of a fastback hatch style. And that was the EXP. Now, it added about 300 pounds of weight doing that, as opposed to the traditional hatch style. So, but they didn't add any more horsepower to these, so in reality, they were actually slower than the regular Escort. But they just look so cool. And even, like, you look at the interior of it, it looks a lot like a, whatchamacallit? An Aero Fox body, oddly enough. Very similar. Just some things are a little different, but... Yeah, and, like, I had an opportunity to buy one of these, albeit a earlier one. The Mazda's based Escort. So, Ford Laser. Let's... Now, I want to look that up, actually. Ford Laser. Laser. 1980. Let's go 85. Oh, okay, yeah. See, that is what the Escort was here, too, to be fair. It was just a little different than that, but... Because, yeah, like, the Ford Escort over here was very similar to this. It was just a little different, though. Like, a fun fact, I have louvers in my shed that are for a, that are for an Escort GT with the rear wiper on it. They're very rare. I found them in a junkyard. I'm like, oh my god. Like, as soon as I saw them on that car, I'm like, wait a minute. I asked the guy that ran the junkyard, it's like, how much do you want for that? He said $100. I'm like, sold. Because that's very rare. It turns out it's extremely rare because that has a rear, so that has a third brake light integrated into it as well, which is apparently a factory louver, and they only offered it for, like, basically 3 months. So I've got this super rare set of window louvers that I don't know what I'm going to do with, but I have them. So there's that. I was going to adapt them to my Capri, or at least attempt to, because it has the rear wiper on it, but never did, so let's screw it. Interesting. Now, a two-door Tempo to be shipped over there, that is an odd choice. They're kind of cool, actually. Like, you don't see very many two-doors over here. Like, they're very rare. And even seeing just a Tempo nowadays is extremely rare. But that's kind of cool to see one. You know what's interesting about the Tempo? Is that, so, the rarest of the rare version of the Tempos is you could actually have a Ford Tempo with, so, get ready for this, all-wheel drive, stick, two-door. You could get that. It was an extremely rare options to do for that, but you could get it. I've seen, like, I believe 2 of them total. And I kind of want one, I'm not gonna lie. It'd be really fun to play with. And just because it's just so weird and it's cool. You know, and I like those weird cars like that. But fair enough, Peter. The XD, XE, and ESP 351 Falcons. See, that's one thing. Like, I don't know a lot on the Aussie Falcons. Like, I know you guys built a Falcon a lot longer than we did, because we stopped the Falcon after 1970, but you guys kept using the name long after that. From Alaska in a 20-foot container. Yeah, see that tracks. Because either, you know, you either ship it from Alaska or you ship it from Vancouver. Like, that's your two sort of things. Oh, was his all-wheel drive as well? Nice. Now, was his a stick all-wheel drive or just the all-wheel drive? Or were you just saying that it was just a Tempo and you're just replying to my comment there? Which I think Dean might be a little bit behind on the comments, maybe, or it's just he's a little slow at typing it. Well, I can get that because they were not exactly the cheapest thing in the world when you decked them out like that. Let's just see. So let's go. What year? Oh, I guess you didn't say, so it doesn't matter. Let's just go 1988 as an example. 1988 Ford Tempo all-wheel drive MSRP. I want. Oh, there you go. So in 1988, the Ford Tempo all-wheel drive MSRP was $10,811. For reference, I believe you could get a Mustang that was a 4-banger for about the same price. Pretty close to it, anyways. Nice. See, now that's badass. I love the fact that you guys like did the hot hatches more than we did too. Because like, we had some, but nothing to the level that Australia did. And it's just, I wish. Oh, his wasn't all-wheel drive. Okay, I love Falcon Falcon European sports packs like ESS Fairmont. Now, and it's funny when I hear Fairmont, I don't think of a really badass car or anything. I think of a basic sedan that was built as a Fox body and was only produced from 1978 to 1983. Like, that's, see, it's so interesting, seeing. Okay, let me look that up. The ESS package. ESS. Let's just go Granada. Oh, interesting. So they were essentially the same car that we had over here. ESS Granada. let's just take a look at this, because unless if this is just no, I'm not actually seeing the ESS package on these, because it's just showing me Ford Granadas that were from over here. Different car, so. And yeah, Dean, they could have the same here too with the Fairmont. Like, did you guys have the same Fairmonts over there as we did over here, or were they different? Let's take a look. So, ESS Fairmont. Now it's funny when I search that up because it does not show up at all as ESS. That's interesting. Ford. There we go. Yeah, I mean, and it's just showing me regular Ford Fairmonts. They are different? Okay. I'll have to look up, okay. Aussie Ford Fairmont. Let's take a look. Okay, well, that is not the Fairmont I was thinking. Here, let's go to the Wikipedia page for the Fairmont. And let's take a look. The XT Fairmont ESP Gia was modified US Granada. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, that Fairmont is a completely different car. Completely different car. Exactly. That's a Falcon. Because when I see that, like, yeah, we didn't. No, our Fairmont was a lot more boring than that. Like, you know, because when I look up Ford Fairmont, what'll show up is, well, now that's a wagon. Hang on, let's find a. There you go. See, now this was the Ford Fairmont over here. Nothing fancy, just a standard sort of coupe slash sedan slash wagon. They could have a 302 V8, depending on the year. They could have a 255 V8. They could have the 2.8 V6. They could have the 2.3 inline 4. And they could also have the 255 cubic inch V8, as well as the 200 inline 6. So, that's interesting. I had no idea. So, when I see that, it's just like, okay, so it, like, it's a Falcon. And like when I look at that, like, it's definitely a Falcon. Yeah, no, that's badass. Now, and it's interesting because, like, because again, in Australia, like, you guys messed with the Cleveland blocks a lot more than we did. Like, so over here, the Cleveland only existed from, I believe it was 1970 to like 1974. That was it. You couldn't really get a Cleveland outside of those years. And now they did do a what we consider the modifieds, which is the 351M as well as the 400M. But and that they're good engines overall, but they're not like, oh my god, freaking amazing. They're pretty decent. But they really lacked power. Emissions just killed them, and just during the 70s, and it was just kind of a sad time for making power at that point. But there are some really badass Cleveland engines that we had over here, like, because we had the 4-barrel version of the Cleveland could make around 400 horsepower actually, and is a very stout unit. But however, You guys even did a 302 Cleveland when we didn't even bother with that. We just kept a 302 Windsor, and that's all we did. You know, for anything fun like that. And yeah, there was the Boss 302, but it's literally just like, hey, this is just a 302 with different heads on it. That's all it was. Slightly different internals too. But and it would have been cool to see, different engine designs be used over here more. Right up until the 85 Bronco. 270 horsepower, 4-barrel. Interesting. Because, yeah, I mean, like, the Pantera over here was only... You can only get the Pantera in the 70s here. Like, because I believe it could not... They didn't want to Americanize it, so I don't think they had 80s Panteras here. Not to my knowledge, anyways. And anytime I've seen a Pantera, it's been an early 70s one. It's never been 80s. Now, and I have seen, like, some... like European cars, like as an example, I mean the coolest European car I ever saw it was actually just this past summer. It was a Ford Capri, which is cool because we didn't get those for very long. The Capri here only went from, I believe it was 1970 to 1978, and a lot of them just rotted away, and like you can't really see them much anymore. And this one had the 2.8 V6 in it. It was just a really cool ass car. Oh, interesting. Okay. I will have to look that one up. You know what? I'm just going to really quick. Now let's see. Did that come out well? Nope. That shouldn't have flashed like that. Hang on. Let's turn off the flash, shall we? Shall we? Off. There we go. Try that again. Sorry, I didn't mean to flash you guys. There we go. Got that. Perfect. Yeah, see, when I think of Pantera, like, oddly enough, like, good band, but I think of the car more than the band. Just one of those things. Because I'm just that way. Ah, you're a Texan but live in Oklahoma? Fair enough. Well, I'm an Albertan that lives in Alberta. Hi, Seaber. I'm gonna have to get you some stuff tomorrow, aren't I? Yeah, I am. You're gonna need some stuff. See, that's fair. Yeah, oh, well, right now the weather is fantastic here. Like, I am happy because, like, that's interesting because I had a couple people comment on some of my videos say, how are you wearing, you're not in long sleeves and there's snow on the ground? Just like, well, because we experience these things called Chinooks. And genuinely, like, today it was like 12 degrees Celsius outside with a foot of snow on the ground. It's kind of funny. So yes, we did actually get that Capri. It's a front-wheel drive weird thing. Yes, we did get those here. The United States got them too. Very rare to find though. Like, and it was supposed to be a competition for the Mazda Miata as well as the Lotus Elan, but it failed miserably at being competition for either of them. So, hey, how goes it, Rahul? Yeah. Hi. How goes it? Oh, did that? Oh, you are 15 years old. Well, hey, that's not a problem. You know, all ages can be in here. This is a family friendly sort of stream. Like there will be the odd cuss here and there, but you know. Okay, let me stop you there. I'm 27. Do not hit on me. You're 15. That's weird. Don't do that. Just don't. Oh, yeah, right now it'd be too cold for that, I can imagine. Um, but, you know, uh, and that's one thing, 'cause, like, right now it's warm, but, like, we experienced minus 40 not that long ago. It was only like a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, it's, just one of those things, that, and it was annoying. But, and also, for people that don't know, minus 40 Celsius is minus 40 Fahrenheit, and I experienced that not too long ago. But now we're having a Chinook, and it's wonderful. Just warm winds that blow down from the mountains, and it gets like heated as it goes down the mountains. It's kind of a weird phenomenon, but it works, and it gets warm, and it's wonderful. It's melting a lot of the snow, and it's great. Like I don't know when we're supposed to get back to regularly scheduled winter, but I don't want it back. It can stay away. Looks like Sunday actually. We'll get back to more regularly scheduled winter, but not like stupid god awful cold. It's just like -3, which is fine. Oof. Yeah, no, thank you. I'll pass on that. I like die in temperature like that. That's just no. Let's see. So Saturday, so that's Sunday. Monday -2, -5, -6, 1, 0, -1, -2, 3, -2, 2, 3, 1. Okay, that's not bad. So we'll still have some warm-ish weather. So that's wonderful. I love it. But yeah, like 26 Celsius is that's hot. You know, like I've experienced that, but yeah. Um. Well, hang on. I can do the quick conversion to the Fahrenheit. Just give me a moment. So right now, at this very moment, it is 43 degrees Fahrenheit outside. And it's supposed to get up to 54 degrees Fahrenheit with a low of 20 degrees Fahrenheit, apparently. So, yeah. Which is quite warm for this time of year for us, because much further north than you are. Oh, I get that, Peter. Trust me. When I work the dyno and it's like plus 30 outside, I freaking die in that heat. It is awful. Because not only are you working, so okay, like you're working at a trailer dyno, but that trailer, it's, like gets very hot because it's all metal and you're like right by it. Plus, you have cars running at full tilt right beside you, so it gets really loud with that, and just ugh, god, just not bueno. Like, that's funny. I like that. I like that. But 32 Celsius would be around 85 Fahrenheit, give or take. Give or take, somewhere in that range. Because I know that like plus 42 is like 105. So, roughly. It's 70 in Melbourne right now. So that would be. Fuck, that'd be around, yeah, about 25, 26. So yeah. Like, ugh. Yeah, just. That's really warm for it being the evening, just saying. For you guys. Really warm. 61 is the high for tomorrow. See, and that's pretty good actually. That's a little warmer than it's gonna be here by about 10 degrees. So that's 21. Okay, fair enough. Like I said, I know the rough sort of temperatures. Well, see, like it's so warm outside for me right now that I could be out there in what I'm wearing right now and wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't want to be out there for super long wearing this, but I wouldn't have many problems doing it though. Happy Nation. That's funny. Mm, I can see that. See now, I like honestly perfect temperature for me. I'm not kidding. 15 degrees Celsius is perfect for me. Like I don't really need it warmer than that. I don't need it colder than that. I can be out there in a t-shirt and shorts, and I'd be absolutely fantastic like that. Because this whole 20 degrees plus thing is just, it fucks with my vibe. Very much fucks with my vibe. Happy Nation. Yeah, oh, see now, and it's funny, because, Chris, you say your hands quit working in freezing temperatures. What if I told you? Now, bear in mind, this is different circumstances than what I normally would do this, but at the time I was dealing with a bunch of hormone issues, whatever else, so I was having a major hot flash. So, what did I do? I was changing a water pump when it was minus 30 Celsius in a t-shirt. And I wasn't wearing gloves, and I felt fine because I'm just overheating, and it felt fantastic. And people were walking by me going like, "Are you okay? Like, how are you like warm?" I'm just like, "I'm having a hot flash. It's fine." And yeah, and I changed the water pump in my car when it was minus 30 outside. It was great. And by the way, minus 30 Celsius is, do the conversion for the American in the chat. Let's just say minus, no, that's a underscore, minus 30 Celsius to Fahrenheit. Yeah, so by the way, I was in a t-shirt, and it was minus 22 for you. But that's one of those things, though. Special circumstances made it so that I was, like that. Because genuinely, yeah, I don't like working on my car when it's that cold. I've done it since then, and I don't enjoy it, but I've done it. It's just like, when I was working on my carburetor, it was like minus 15 Celsius outside, which is not like super cold, but cold enough. And so I'm whacking the freaking starter, or not starter, the carburetor with a set of vice grips, because I didn't want to damage the carburetor. So that's why I didn't do it with a hammer. So instead, vice grips, just smack it a bunch of times, and then finally it unfroze all the crap in there, and yeah. Which I should probably actually fill my car up with gas. Yeah, just thought about that too. Fuck, gonna have to spend more money today. Blarg. That's okay. It'll be worth it with Jobberino. Hi, Sheeper. Hi, buddy. I love you. Yeah, I love you, fat cat. Our lowest New Zealand temperature is quite warm. Minus 25 Celsius. Well, see, now that's interesting. So, yeah, the coldest it's been for you guys is minus 25. So what if I told you? Now, hang on. Let me do the conversion for the American in the chat. We actually experienced. Now, this is with wind chill. It was minus 70 Celsius with wind chill. So let's see. What is that in Fahrenheit? That's gonna be like, yeah, there you go. So, minus 70 Celsius, and again, that's with wind chill. It was like about minus 46, I believe, without wind chill. Is minus 94 Fahrenheit. So, yeah. It was really fucking cold here. We had that polar vortex that just, oh my god, that was awful for like a week straight. It was not good. I don't recommend it. But it's one of those things, and I live in a part they call Green County. Ah, yeah, see now, oddly enough, where I live, so here's the interesting thing. Here in Alberta, it's one of the few places where you can experience 40 Celsius, like plus 40 Celsius and plus 40 Fahrenheit, which for reference, like, 40 Celsius is around like 110 Fahrenheit. So it's one of those things. And you can do that without leaving your city. Like, it's brutal. And that's the one thing. And, like, in here, it's interesting because, like, here in Sundrew, we get tornado warnings, like, every other week. It's pretty normal. It's really annoying, though, because, like, when they say, hey, look, there's a tornado warning in your area, just like, yeah, I know. Stop interrupting my TV show. I will go outside and look to see if I can see a tornado when, the commercials are on. Leave me alone. And so far, lived here for 7 years now. Haven't seen a tornado yet. There's been a tornado that's been close, though. Like, we had a tornado touchdown in Bergen, which is only like about 15 kilometers that way. So, fun times. Fun times. That was only, what was that, 2 years ago? 3 years ago? Something like that. Yeah, oh yeah, down in Oklahoma, you guys do. 100%. You guys really do set records for tornadoes. Because, like, our tornadoes up here, they don't really do a lot of damage, typically. You know, they're, like, maybe Category 2s at the most. Where, like, down there, you guys get the big-ass freaking tornadoes that destroy everything. And then you guys get, you know, you guys get really fucking hot down there, too. But we also can get very hot up here. Eh? Easy, bro. Oh, big stretch. Hi, buddy. Mwah. This is a cat that does not want to be held. Ah! Haha, I'm petting you now. No! No! Ah! 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 He's attacking me! My cat's attacking me! Ah! Hi, buddy! Oh, they do more than just pick up cows. They'll pick up, like, full-on houses and throw them around, and depending on how strong a tornado is. Hi, Fever. You want down? There you go, bud. Actually, I need to move my chair up. There we go. Oh, damn. Alright, that's a little better anyways. A little bit. Yeah, that's no bueno. Actually, I just want to check where's my battery level at. Oh, I'm still at 25%. Hell yeah. Nice. See, that's the one thing I like about YouTube as well. It does not kill your battery like TikTok does. You know, I've been live for 2 hours and I'm only down to 50 or 25% of my battery. It's pretty freaking good. I only started at like 52%, so win. But, I mean, I don't know how much longer I'll be live for, though. Like, I'm thinking. Just thinking. Oh! Yeah, so last year, like, the entirety of Alberta was on fire. But, you know, we didn't die, thankfully. But, yeah, and BC had it even worse. Like, BC was, like, the worst. And what's interesting, though, is, so, Fort Mac, it caught on fire, gosh, what was that, 8 years ago now, I think? Something like that? And they're still dealing with the fires there, because the fires are underground now. So they're still actually fighting the Fort Mac fire from, like, 8 years ago. It's insane. 31 and 35, rip. That is no bueno. That sucks. That's too hot. Yeah. Elon Musk takes all the power. Yeah. Yeah. But I think, as lovely as this conversation has been, I should try and get some sleep because it's gonna be a long few days coming up here. So, like, not tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a fine day, but Wednesday, like, I'm gonna be driving a woman from, picking her up at the airport and bringing her back to Olds at, like, midnight, basically. Um, and then yeah, so that's there's that, and then early the next morning, I'm actually going to be bringing a woman to the Calgary hospital in, the Lancer, which is so weird to drive that Lancer as well. So yeah, I do have to get to sleep at a decent hour just because of those two things mainly this week, but I really do appreciate all of you coming out and making this stream just absolutely wonderful. Y'all have absolutely made my night. So I really do appreciate you all. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you all take care. Have a wonderful rest of your evenings or night in the case of Chris. Have a wonderful sleep whenever you guys go to sleep, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.